Welcome, dear friend. Thanks for tuning in. I'll get right to it. I want to make January a month of horror. Yes, horror. I want to read through some classic stories, this and others. This is somewhat temporary. I don't think I'll be doing horror stories forever. I have a desire to read more and explore more in the way of narration and acting. It's something I've loved with Dungeons and Dragons. It's something that I've loved with reading stories to my wife and my kids, and I'd like to share some of that with you. It gives me a chance to share some of my favorite stories and perhaps some of the thoughts on favorite stories. Out of respect for copyright, or at least fear of violating such, I'll be mostly sticking to reading things that are in the public domain. Please, please, please don't think that that's going to make them stuffy and boring. I've found that older stories have a charm about them that some of the stories that are more modern miss. Not all of them. I love modern stories too. I might get a little cheeky and read some of those modern stories. We'll see what we get up to. If you're still watching at this point, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. A smart viewer like yourself might be thinking at this point, wait, why horror, Neil? And why January? I have long thought that January and February are some of the hardest months of the year. The societal gatherings that we enjoy, from October to December, right? Those are past. The dull, icy chill of late fall and early winter are kind of gone and have settled into our bones more. January has a sort of refractory effect, if I can, a depressing lull that sits loathsomely before a seemingly distant spring. It is in this strange month of societal ennui that I found myself appreciating a fuller embrace of the darkness. If nature is so intent on turning down the light, then perhaps we shall thrive in the dark, thrive on the dark. I've enjoyed classics of Poe and Blackwood, Lovecraft, and others, drinking in the prose and meticulous attention to the articulation of the macabre. To put it simply, it scratches an itch, if you will, that winter seems to repeatedly afflict me with. Some might call it seasonal depression, or at least cold, dry air, making my skin itchy. You be the judge. But maybe more than that, I know I'm not alone, at least in my appreciation for horror, which I purposely leave undefined. Your definition and mine perhaps vary greatly. This isn't important. Only that we're willing to explore together a few of the peaks and valleys of the vast landscape. You might scoff at such an invitation now. Maybe you're thinking, this isn't for me. That's fine. But I ask that you still come with me and see what strange meeting of the human expression and understanding we can find together in the dark. In his excellent journal article entitled Abandon All Hope, Sublime Horror Film and Pessimistic Liberation, philosopher and author Maxwell Skenzny opines that there may be a kind of sublime in which the ego is chipped away at or dissolved, leaving the difference between subject and object, spectator and horrific image, murkier than most would hope. We may feel joyous at the sea of fog and empowered through the functions of our human reasoning, but a similar kind of thrill occurs when our rational functions fail us, and the experience is beyond both language and rationality. He goes on to say, sublime horror is wildly unsettling, but it is not without its rewards, given that one is willing to embrace them. So, Once again I invite you, come with me, friend, join with me. Let us take a breath before the plunge. Before us, a rough-hewn circle struck in the ice, cut with some strange implement, by an unknown figure that stands a ways off. Fog tendrils flex and curl at the stranger's feet. Before we hold our heads under, before we study and we unsteady, take care and don't dare to hope, but hope to dare. I'll see you very soon.